Greetings, everybody. It is Saturday, November 22nd, as I look at my calendar, 2014, and we are continuing to resurrect the weekend trader, and I plan on continuing to do this each week. And this is a time where we can just sit back, relax, the market's closed, look back at the last week, look forward to the coming week. What are we doing well? What can we improve on? And just talk about trading and life and how they relate, and all in the spirit of helping each other. I'm gonna say right off the bat, I'm gonna try not to get real preachy. I know that I can get on soapboxes, and I'm probably gonna get on at least one small one today. But you know, I try to be very transparent in terms of this is who I am. And you know, you go through memorial services, you go through passings of your parents and friends and all that kind of stuff, and you know, you go through some thought processes which I hope help you mature as you age and look at things through a little bit of a different lens. You know, we were just celebrating the life of someone who just a great man, gave tremendous service everywhere he was, always had a smile on his face, and something that certainly I can look to. This type A aggressive personality can look to as a model to temper some of the feelings that I have at times, and just a great man. And while we certainly feel and mourn for his family, and you know, want to comfort them, we are absolutely thrilled that we know with confidence where Bob is, and that he's doing well, and he would not want us to mourn for him, but celebrate his life and use his life as a model for ours as well. So enough of that. But again, it does certainly put me in a little bit of a mode of you know, looking at what we do as traders. I've had several conversations over the past 2 weeks, email, phones, Skypes with traders as we ramp our efforts up at this end, and look to build something and continue to build something very good. And I'll touch on those in a second here. I also want to go to something that I spoke about recently in a stewardship campaign. I'm not going to read the whole thing here, but a part of it was I said over the past 30 years, God, for some reason, has placed me in a number of money-related roles, from accounting grad to executive MBA to chief financial officer and everything in between. Yet the more I'm around money, the more two things become clear to me. First, it's not ours, it's his. And second, money is simply a tool. It's a shovel that we've been allowed to borrow for a period of time to sustain ourselves and do his work. A trader recently challenged me a bit in terms of, you know, how can you mix faith and trading? Isn't that sacrilegious or something to that effect? And you know, my response to him was very frank. It was no. I mean, it's intertwined. We are who we are, and our family, our career, our vocation, our belief. That's one person. You can't compartmentalize. And at least if I'm compartmentalizing, shame on me. Probably a better way to say that. And so, as I've said in the book and other places, you know, it's all one, and that's one of the reasons that I agreed. I said yes to Wiley finally to do the book, was that I thought it was a way to kind of get that point across, to kind of wrap this concept around us that really doesn't get talked a whole lot, which is, you know, this is life. Life's got some grand moments, but it's got some challenges too. And sometimes to get to those grand moments, you've got to go through those challenges. And so anyway, that was one thought. And I challenged a peer of mine recently in terms of just seeing some stuff on the internet that you know, crossed the line in terms of you know, charts that had tops and bottoms picked and this and that. You know, we'd be fooling ourselves if we were to tell people anything other than the fact that we can provide tools, as I said last week. But there's no black box. There's no perfect entry. There's dealing with the markets as they evolve. It's dealing with ourselves and our trading mindsets, and you know, those of us, frankly, who've been around the block a little while, you know, get that and can see something fairly easily. Frankly, have I crossed that line at times over the years? Yes. And I'm thankful for those who have nudged me back on the other side. Look, we're all human. I make mistakes every day, whether it's my life or my trading or whatever. You know, it's a matter of working through that and overcoming it. So you know, the more that I've gotten active online lately, the more involved I've been with Twitter, for example. Um, you know, there's a lot of good stuff out there, but please, you know, a caveat emptor. This is about, you know, reality, folks, not about some you know, wishful thinking that every pattern works out and every chart looks so darn obvious after the fact. I want to read a couple of excerpts from the very end of the book, the Chronicles book, uh, just to continue to put today in perspective. And this, keep in mind, was written just a little over a year ago. It says more than 10 years have passed since what I often refer to as my personal abyss. And almost 5 years have passed since I embarked on my inner self-actualization journey. It's often said that timing is everything in the markets as well as in life, and such certainly appears to be the case for consolidating and formalizing my thoughts in these pages. As I approach the age of 52, my perspectives on life and trading have come into even clearer focus given the events of recent years, without which would have likely resulted in a compilation that, although perhaps helpful, would have been incomplete. I consider myself extremely fortunate to have been given thus far 5 decades in which to grow, make mistakes, and adjust for course corrections, especially in a world where lives too often seem to be cut short before so many can rise to their fullest potential. Why some are given the blessing of time to cultivate and fully develop while others aren't will forever remain a mystery. As I reviewed my experiences in great detail in preparation for this book, one theme that seemed constant throughout my life and career was imperfection, bold, in the form of less than perfect markets, trade sequences, traders, brokers, regulators, and humans amid the backdrop of an imperfect world. Yet perhaps it's our very humanity and imperfections that combine to form our greatest strengths and lead to our greatest discoveries. For most accomplishments or advances in the history of this world seem to have their footings held strong by the once wet concrete of extreme or multiple failures that over time hardened to become a foundation that could withstand the future winds of time. I'm going to jump ahead to the very last part. If you haven't read the book yet, spoiler alert just for the last paragraph. Not a big deal. As I first mentioned when we began this journey together, this is a true story that I hope shows that despite the tremendous imperfections of humanity, and this trader specifically, anything is possible when years of extreme dedication and motivation collide with that special window of opportunity where personal rhythm and external circumstances fully align. I also mentioned that if some of these words increased your perspective on life as much as they did on trading, we'll call it mission accomplished. Although I'll let time provide the ultimate verdict, I'm hopeful that these words have stirred your soul to diligently strive to maximize your gifts and talents and jump through that window of opportunity with full force when it appears, regardless of age, endeavor, or field, while keeping your successes in perspective and your friends and family far, far closer than your bank account. Is this a book about trading or life? I'll let you decide. And again, maybe today's a little bit more reflective than a lot of these sessions that we've done. And I'm always concerned when people, you know, are reading about a degree of success that has been achieved to balance that in perspective. You know, again, there's so much going through my head this week. It's literally spinning, and I'd spend an hour on this, which I'm not going to. But I guess the point I'm trying to make today is that if you are struggling in your life or in your trading, and you look around and you think people are just rolling trades off their hands and off their fingers and everything's so obvious and this and that, but that's not the case. You know, when we do the live effort at this end, which is now once a year, the feedback I get is almost a sigh of relief in terms of realizing that mistakes, errors, less than optimal sequences, that's the rule and not the exception. And that's what keeps us coming back to the markets, those of us who love puzzles and those of us who are trying to continue to strive to improve ourselves. It's the challenge of trying to get there. It's like life, trying to get to that state of perfection, knowing we're always going to fall short. And it's how we work around those landmines, our personal landmines, the market landmines. This and that, missed opportunity, which can be a tougher challenge for traders than actually a loss. I know it is for me. Missed opportunity where I'm either not there, not ready, not motivated, not prepared, or just don't see something, hurts me a lot more from a trading perspective than you know, flash crash or MF Global or any of that stuff. So you know, it's really you know, trying to realize that this is the world that we live in. And I think the media has, a tendency to glorify themselves, and to glorify their methods or their tools or whatever. There's some great stuff around here. There's the tools for the toolbox, as we talked about last week. And I'm happy to tell everybody what my tools are. But ultimately, it's up to you. I've got very strong convictions in this market only because I saw what didn't work and I saw what worked and I lived through it. It's not conceptual. It's having lived through it. And I say this with all due humility, please. I've made millions in this business and continue to do well. But there's no magic. And I've said when I don't trade well, it's because I'm not motivated, I don't show up, or I'm not focused. And one of those three legs of the stool, it will always be a challenge for me, especially the older I get. And you've got to compensate for things. So if you find helpers and tools and all that kind of stuff, but there's no black box. There's no perfection out there. So let's just get rid of the fact that anything's perfect. Anyway, been a hell of a week in the markets, though, hasn't it? The whole the China bank rate cut on Friday morning our time. The market ending in a totally bullish scenario on Thursday after coming off its lows. A lot of trading action. Every technical signal that I'm aware of certainly helped to point toward an up market on Friday. And whether you trade overnight or those that don't hold a position or that can't get up and trade Europe and at least catch the second leg of that up move are left with shorting the Friday open. So there's something for all of us. But it was interesting that a lot of indicators were collectively pointing up Thursday night. So whether you could take advantage of that through overnight holds, getting up and trading Europe, or having to wait for the exhaustion to move and short it coming back down, you had to pick one. But that was kind of one of those sequences where it was a bit aggravating because I found myself, just because of circumstances, having to short the open rather than catching the move ahead of time. And something I would have liked to have done differently, but Friday still went fairly well. Boy, what else can we talk about? I said I've had discussions with many traders, thanks to Linda Ratchke. We chatted over the week, had some good talks. Continue to thank the folks, Charlie Cochran, Peter Nanis, at CN Futures with the tools that they provided. And we are going to get to a point where I'm going to provide real trade sequences off of the signals. One of my pet peeves in this industry, again, is you see all these hypothetical charts, both before and after. Well, that's like looking at a car, that's parked on the side of a road. You got to drive the car, okay? So let's see you drive it. And so I want to continue to do what we tried to do in the past, which is provide real trading, live effort. We'll record it, not cherry pick show, good, bad, all that. And the passage, one of the passages we talked about in the Chronicles book was about jumping through that window of opportunity. One of the things I continue to feel very strongly about that some of my peers frankly don't, and they may do very well. So I'm not saying it doesn't work, but I tweeted the other day that one of my favorite books is also The Tao of Poker, and we talked about in the Chronicles book that it's about jumping through that window of opportunity when it permits with both feet essentially. You have to vary size in this business, folks. And anyone who doesn't tell you that has never traded or has never traded successfully for a prolonged period of time. And I say successfully, I mean uber successfully. I mean, you can certainly, try to make a certain amount every day, which again, there's a problem with that because you're capping your income. You're capping your income at a certain day, at a certain amount, and you can never get over that amount. So you've got capped income versus all the draws and the slippage and all that kind of stuff. So you've got to press for what we've always called outliers. You have to vary your bet size, and you have to train yourself and learn this business so that you're confident enough when to press your bets. It's not going to be 100% of the time that you press your bets, but by and large, once you know this business, once you know the markets, you'll be able to do that far more times, do it correctly far more times than the times you don't. And again, those that are familiar with cards, right? You get dealt pocket aces, and the flop comes, ace, king, queen, or something, and someone's got pocket kings or whatever they may have. You've got the hand, right? And of course, the key is to reading what the other person has more so than what you have, but you have the hand. You have to play that differently. You've got the goods. And in this business, when you develop the confidence in this business and the focus where you know with very high degree of probability, there's no perfection, but you know with a very high degree of probability that you have the goods more times than not, you've got to trade that heavily. Okay? You can't just trade that the same as you trade any other setup. You just can't. Okay? And I spoke about this years ago when my trading career took off, when the light bulb, that missing light bulb, a lot of light bulbs came on, the one missing light bulb finally went on, and it was a 1,000-watt light bulb. It was bet size. It was bet size. And this is a business where you are going to make the majority of your income. If you're a day trader, it's going to be on 1 or 2 trades. If you're a swing trader, it's going to be on maybe 1 or 2 swings over the course of a week. Over a career, it's going to be those couple of years where you hit it hard. You know, this is about creating unlimited potential or taking advantage of unlimited potential when the time arises. But you've got to press it. You've got to press it. There's, you know, one of the challenges those of us in the educational field and those that provide some of the tools in this industry have is that we're very risk averse because we have to be very careful. We have all the disclaimers out there, you know. And you know, we have to, just by that nature, we're telling people to be more conservative because we're promoting, always trade with stops, always do this, always do that, always that. How to prevent yourself from falling. All well and good. It prevents lawsuits, okay? I get that. I have to have it on my site. But the fact is, if you're going to be ultra successful in this business, and if you really want to shine, and if you really want to reach your full potential, understand what this is all about, you got to push when it's appropriate. You have to push. And nobody out there is telling you you have to push. Okay? When I was the most successful, when I continue to be the most successful, it's when I am ultra aggressive and I am pushing. Okay? That's this business. This is a mental sport. This business is a mental sport where when you sense blood in the water, you go for it. When you sense that you are at your optimal focus mindset, you're locked in, the market is setting up. Again, it's not 100%, it's not perfect. But you go for it, and the next time you go for it, and you know that the vast majority of the time it's going to work. That's when this business starts making sense to you. Right? Otherwise, you're going to be spinning your wheels. And I think you've got to ask, do you want to go big or stay home, as you know, has been said many times by people far greater and wiser than I am. And it's about, and I'm talking to myself as much as, you know, you go back to the diary of 2008, 9, 10 that we had online here. I'm talking to myself. This is as much a diary to myself as it is, you know, push it, Don. Push it, push it, push it. And only you can do that. You know, chat room's not going to do it for you. Magic bullet's not going to do it for you. You know, don't get discouraged. This business is not about perfection. Life is not about perfection. I apologize to everybody if I get a little preachy. I feel very strongly about this. Again, all profits to this book. All profits go to charity. World Vision right now. It's not perfect. I'll tell you right now, it's not perfect, but it's real. It's about reality, and help me to bookend certainly 20 years, actually the whole life, but 20 years of this individual. Great trading coming up. We're going to get back to more technicals next week. Again, forgive me for indulging a little bit, but think a little bit about what we're talking about today. And have a blessed weekend, and we'll see you on Monday through Twitter and next week via video. Take care. Bye.